Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real with just Adetoun. Yes, and that is so tough. If you lie to me, you're lying to yourself. Like if you think you're lying to yourself, you're not helping yourself. A lot of people always ask me this question, like, how do I feel when I go back home at the end of the day? And I always tell people, like, I sleep like a baby because I ask myself, what have I done today? Have I done what is worth it? Have I said the truth to myself? Have I been true to myself? And at the end of the day, I just say, yes, I'm being true to myself because me, I'm somebody that I'm not pressured by anything. A lot of you are living your lives under pressure. People are putting pressure on you. The society is putting so much pressure on you. So you go back home and you're so pressurized, like you must do this, you want to do this. Nah, man. Cut out from that bondage. Cut out from that bondage. Be real to yourself. Be true to yourself. So today we're going to be talking about something very important, and that is marriage. Somebody asked me a question. Auntie, can I ask you a question? Personal question. Oh, yeah, mungbo. Otibiro no mi nai. He said, what do you understand by marriage? Like, how have you been coping in marriage? Yes, it's easy for me to define marriage today because I've also been in and out of marriages. Basically, this is my third marriage. So I'm going to be talking to you from my experience and not what I read in the books or what they told me about marriage. So for me, marriage is very simple. Marriage is how you define it. Everybody has to define marriage in his or her own way. Whatever definition you give to marriage is what takes you into that marriage, is what keeps you into that marriage, and that is what would definitely push you out of that marriage. So if you go into a marriage like, oh, I got a big fish, I caught a big fish. So you're going to be living in that marriage like you were swimming inside the water of a big man's pool. So everything has to be money, 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 biggies, biggies, biggies. But if you go into a relationship like I'm going into an institution where I don't know him, he doesn't know me, I'm only coming in based on what he has told me and what I have told him, then you're going into an institution where you need to learn. You want to go and explore and learn and understand. So for me, I first define marriage as an institution between two different people. Never say love brought you together. Love can bring you together. Character might not keep you together. Love can bring you together. Tolerance might not keep you together. Love can bring you together. Forgiveness might not keep you together. Love can bring you together. Perseverance might not keep you together. So one thing brings two people together. That's the synergy. But what sustains that relationship? What sustains that marriage is the ability to forgive, ability to persevere, ability to learn from each other, ability to teach each other, and ability to communicate. So what would you define as marriage? If you are somebody who goes into a marriage and you're somebody who likes self-defense, like this is me, I can't change, I can't I can't bend backwards, this is what my mom taught me, this is what my dad taught me, then you are not in a relationship. Then you are not in a marriage. Because for you to be in a marriage, you must be able to understand that there are some things that you learned way back when you were single that were not true. They were just mere facts. They were statements. They weren't in reality of the day. So marriage is the way you define it. So if you go into a relationship and you decide to sign the vows and you want to stay in that marriage, then every day of your life, you must ask yourself that question: what brought me here? A lot of you go into marriages because your friend got married, your sister got married, everybody around you is married. Are you ready? Are you prepared? Is your mind set? Can you do what it is to make yourself not yourself? Because for you to be in a marriage, sometimes you are a reflection of yourself. Sometimes it might not be bad. It might be good because you're going to explore something. You'll be like, oh, I never experienced this. This is so sweet. And sometimes you're going to experience it like, hey, but how did I just get here? Then people say, I regret the day I met you. You will now start to run your mouth as if your gatesman didn't close the tap. No. Ask yourself the question each day. Because for me, I never thought that by now I'll be 6 years in a marriage, because my first marriage, we were married, but we didn't live together. Not for once. Second marriage, the same day I got married was the same day it ended. So I married. So you can be married and you are absent in that marriage. It happened to me. So for you to be married, you need to have this question set aside. And once you're going off the rail, you need to be able to go back to that question, ask yourself those questions, have your book where you tick it, answer yourself, and then go back and say, okay, I'm still on track, or I need to get back on track, or I've fallen off track. If you're able to keep these guidelines, marriage becomes interesting. Marriage becomes sweet. Marriage becomes achievable. Marriage becomes practicable to you. Marriage becomes a fulfillment to you. But if you go into marriage with a mindset that does not have sustainability, nah, man, you will move yourself if they don't push you out. So that's what it is for today's episode. Marriage. Nobody can define marriage. Only you can define marriage yourself. What is taking you into that institution? Whatever takes you into that institution is what keeps you there, is what preserves you, is what sustains you, and is what gives you fulfillment. So always ask yourself before you go marry, am I under pressure? Am I pushing myself? Do I want to fulfill the class of people who are married? Or am I qualified to marry? If you cannot answer any of these questions, take it easy. You cannot be in a haste to marry because they're gonna come and yab you. Didn't you know? Aren't you aware? Didn't you check? In order to avoid these questions, define marriage yourself. Keep being loved. Keep loving yourself. I'll see you some other time. Peace out. This is just Adetoun. Be real. Be real. Be real.